Let's first of all introduce the director of the film, Sebastien Paquet. Sebastien, come join us. Great job. I also want to note that the accessibility was created by Adapt Community Network, which is actually United Cerebral Palsy New York. So there's that beautiful connection too. And now that was just stalling. Good. That was just stalling before I introduce the man that needs no introduction, Brandon Mendenhall. Where is he? Whoop, 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 whoop. And watching you from above is no other than Munky.
What up, dude?
Please welcome to moderate this conversation. I don't know how she's going to do this, but Bronya Metherol from the Cerebral Palsy Alliance Research Foundation. Thank you, Bronya, so much for being here.
So, wow.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Wow. I think I may have even been converted as a metal fan.
Yes.
Never, ever too late.
Yeah, amazing. So, first of all, Brandon, congratulations. I think everyone in the room joins me on this sentiment that is one hell of a journey. So, firstly, congratulations. Your spirit and determination is amazing. And I'd like to come back to that. I also want to acknowledge behind me, can we call you Munky?
Yes.
All right, that feels very personal. So thank you, Munky. Let's start with you to keep you engaged. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me. Thank you.
I want to start with, obviously, inspiring hundreds of thousands of people is something that you're very much used to, but it strikes me that there was something different about this and Brandon and his story. Do you want to talk us through what was it about Brandon that really impacted you?
I think the first time that I met him, it was outside of a club, and he wanted to show the other guitarist and I a tattoo he had on his back, which was, you probably saw it in the film. It was myself and head on one side of his shoulder, and I thought, man, here's a kid who, just like me, started out, wanting to play music, but was up against so many odds. And with him, it was apparent that, there was a disability. And I felt like I don't want him to walk away from this conversation feeling like he can't accomplish his dreams, because I was sitting there and I had, accomplished mine, or on my road to, continued making a living at playing music. But every time I saw him, I gave him a little bit of inspiration, whatever those words were, like, just keep going. Don't worry about it. Just look forward. Don't look back. What each kind of hurdle and each milestone, whether he felt like he was being set back, I felt like I was giving him sort of just each time I wanted to inspire him and encourage him that it was all a learning process, and every time he faced an adversity, he was learning something new, whether it was about the business or was about people, and it was just a journey that he was on. And I could see sometimes he came to me and he was, feeling discouraged, and I would just, I don't know, I could see that he wanted to have his dreams come true, and that he could overcome the disability was always second. It was never one of those things that, oh, I can't do this. It was just like, I'm going to prove to people that I can do this. Sorry, my mom's not here, so I could say the F word. So I just wanted him to always stay positive, and I'd always just give him little bits of what I could, and to keep him motivated and moving forward towards his dream.
And I think it's fair to say that, you know, your support to Brandon, it's certainly evident in the film, has had a very huge role to play in this journey. I'm a believer that everyone deserves at least one big supporter in their life who gives them a leg up in life, and it feels to me, as a viewer in that film, that you really were a main player in that respect. So it's very inspiring to see. I'm interested, broadly speaking, knowing that for all of us in New York, and there's lots of other people that are going to see this film, what would be your message to individuals that have adversities in their life, barriers that they think they have to overcome? What would be your message of inspiration in your experience working with Brandon to those people?
I guess the main message would be to, you know, obviously it's a follow your dreams sort of story, but I also want people to enjoy the process and the learning process of collecting information as they're on their journey, because it builds who they are. It adds to the art, and it adds to the end result, which is, you know, just the challenges make you stronger, and it also adds to the art, whatever, you know, or whatever it is you're trying to do. So I think, I think just stay positive and encouraged, and inspired, and look for inspiration in places, and you'll find it in places that you don't ever really seem that are that obvious, I guess.
Importantly, are you two still jamming?
Are we still jamming, me and this guy?
Yeah.
Anytime, bro, anytime.
You know, I'm on the West Coast. He's on the East Coast. When he gets back, we'll get together, and you know, I talked about, you know, being in one of his videos, and I want to hold my end of the bargain on that. So maybe that's a possibility.
Amazing.
Hell yeah.
I think he's in.
I'll be behind the camera again, so we can recreate this very powerful trio once again.
Amazing.
Thank you, dude. Thank you.
We can't wait to see what's in store, perhaps another collaboration between the two of you. Really exciting. Look, again, the mastery behind this film, Sebastien, amazing story. It was difficult to watch in parts. It was inspiring, it was exciting, it was thrilling, it was raw, it was honest. Tell us, where did this collaboration come from? How did you meet Brandon? What was it about his story that really inspired you to make this?
First of all, thank you so much for your kind words. That's very nice of you. We actually met 14 years ago. I was born in Paris, France, and I moved to California 14 years ago. And Brandon is one of the very first people that I met when I moved to Los Angeles. We met at a corn event, and we just became friends right away. And 4 years ago, our friendship obviously developed, and I was just fascinated by his drive and his very difficult childhood. And he would never, ever take no for an answer. And even if he was losing every single band member, he would rebuild the band from scratch every single time, never taking no for an answer. And 4 years ago, I was like, this is a story that is worth telling and that could inspire so many around the world. Why don't we build on that friendship and just create a film project together to show his story to the world? And 4 years later, here we are in New York premiering this film for all of you. So thank you so much for being here tonight.
Thank you for your gift of the film. What do you feel is the main message in this film?
Like I was saying earlier, never, ever take no for an answer. If you think that something is in your way and you will not be able to overcome it, find another way. There's always a different way around it, and anything is possible in life. Sky is definitely the limit.
The message is in the title. It's mind over matter. You can do anything. Just do it.
And I am glad you raised that. It was actually due to be my next question. Who came up with the name? Why mind over matter?
Mind over matter is a phrase that my grandfather used to say to me when I was young. He always said, well, you don't have the physical body to go out and do factory work like I do, or work on a farm, or doing any of that physical labor stuff. So you're going to have to use your mind to be successful in life. And every time I would get down, he'd always tell me, you know, stop saying you can't. You can. And ironically enough, he told me, like, he would use the phrase mind over matter. Just like, you know, put your mind over your physical body and just do it.
You evidently did do that, Brandon. I want to rewind a little bit. Let's go back to the early years in your experience in your life and music and its inspiration to you. Why do you think that music became your driver?
Music, well, I attached myself to music because it gave me an outlet. Especially like hard rock and metal bands like Korn, Nine Inch Nails, Pantera. Those bands gave me something to relate to. The music became my emotional therapy to deal with my disability. And once I started playing guitar, that obviously became a physical rehabilitation and the way to overcome my disability physically.
And you say at one point in the film, I think it's towards the middle, that you wanted to live your life as if your disability didn't exist. Sounds to me like defiance, sounds like determination. Tell us about that.
That is exactly how it sounds. I've always wanted to live my life like my disability didn't exist. When I was really young, I never understood why I was born with a disability until I realized, like, I was born with a purpose, like my grandmother said. But for most of my life, I didn't want to be disabled. I hated it. I hated it, and I hated people treating me differently, and like I just wanted to be normal and like equal to everybody. And people would stare at you and look at you weird, and they thought I was mentally retarded or whatever. And all the hazing and bullying I went through, it's like I just wanted to live my life like it wasn't there, and that's what I did, and I still do.
And as a result of this experience, Sebastien, Munky, what is your take? What's your understanding, your experience of disability and cerebral palsy now as a result of being so involved with Brandon and this journey? Throw that to either of you.
You can start, James, if you like.
Well, even when I first met him, and I didn't understand the disability myself, and for him to be able to shed light on, one aspect of a disability, I think is a huge advantage to people that don't understand it. A lot of people misunderstand it in the form that, maybe his brain isn't functioning correctly, or, people are talking to him like this. And you're like, man, it happens often. And I think that, he's such a great, he can speak to the point. He's a great advocate in getting people to understand, and that he is a human, first of all. There's just qualities to him that most people don't have. And I think that attributes to his grandmother, his mother, and his grandfather that raised him with those values to stand up and be able to speak up and it's so encouraging, and the film is just so inspirational, and I hope that it helps people understand not only disabilities but also, like it did me. It taught me. It taught me to not to be so judgmental, and people are just all the same. We all have all the same problems: family, health, money. It's all the same. I've been around the world, and it's all the same crap. But sorry. So yeah.
Sebastian?
I've learned a lot during those 4 years. Well, even the 14 years of our friendship, I've learned a lot about your disability and the disabled community as a whole. I've always had a particular sensibility with that topic. My mother got diagnosed with MS when I was 9 years old. So that's always been, and I was the one taking care of her before I moved. But that's always been something that I gravitate towards. And so when I met him, I think that's one of the reasons why we became friends and such close friends right away, because I have a special sensibility for people like that. And I've definitely learned a lot, and I've learned even more this week as here in New York, being a part of this wonderful film festival here and watching all these films and meeting all of you at the filmmakers brunch the other day and so forth. So there's always so much you can learn in life and so much you can learn from other people.
Well, it's a credit to you, Brandon. It's a credit to you, Sebastian, for bringing this story to life and crafting what's really a very beautiful illustration that I think transcends music and goes straight to the core of the human spirit. I know that people have burning questions. I can feel it in the room, so I'm going to throw it to the audience now. And I can see one enthusiastic hand here. This is a very talented musician herself, who is on a very similar journey to Brandon, and I know sought inspiration from this film. So what would you like to ask, Marisa?
Hi everyone, I'm Mar. Like Brandon, I have cerebral palsy, and I chose a different style of music. I'm a reggae artist, but Brandon, there's a band that I am really moved by. Ask these guys, they've driven me around like music festivals. They're called Giant Panda Gorilla Dub Squad. You gotta check them out, they're great. My question is for Brandon and Munky. How do you see the inclusion portion of this mission going forward? What do you both see as the next step in the process? Because there's not a whole lot of things being done where it's fun like this. It's art, it's music, but it also has this awareness component. Where do you both see that moving forward? What do you see as the next step?
Munky?
I mean, for me, it's letting people like you see the film and understand that the music is sort of our vehicle to, and the film is that Sebastian created, is a vehicle to shed light and educate people about a misunderstood disease, or not disease, but a misunderstood disability, and help them understand it in a different way. And not only that, but help that transcend to other disabilities and other people that have adversities in life.
Yeah, I think Munky hit the nail on the head. It starts with going out there and telling the story, and once you tell the story, that is the starting point for inclusion to actually begin. Because once people hear the story, they have the opportunity to be more open and change their minds about others with disabilities. And that kind of, gets the ball rolling with things, and that's what this film is all about. Seb?
I have no words. You're such a great speaker. How could I follow that?
I think we've got
have
another
a question
question
right here.
here.
Hi, guys. Before I ask my question, I'd just like to briefly acknowledge this trio of amazing gentlemen in front of us. Munky, thank you for inspiring me and countless others like Brandon. You are the domino that started this beautiful effect, and now we're here talking about this amazing story all together. Brandon, thank you for having the courage to speak up and share this story. I can only imagine how intimidating it was to share this on a one-on-one basis, much less on such a grand scale now. And more importantly, thank you for not giving up. That story of you doing lines in your apartment was way too familiar. And Sebastien, thank you for capturing it. We could read about this and it would still be powerful, but seeing it on film, hearing Brandon and his family and friends talk, it just takes it to a whole another level and encourages much more of the empathy this world needs. So thank you all for the part you played.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joe.
And film is such a, intense process. You're like almost birthing a child for 4 years crafting this together. I'd like to know looking back, what the most gratifying part of that process was.
I think we'll both agree that the Aftershock Music Festival in 2016 in Sacramento, California, you playing the biggest show of your career and having all of my camera friends joining the team and document this unbelievable show, the biggest show of your career from every single angle, and you really dominating that stage and really making a statement with your music, one note after another. That was really powerful. It was really difficult to not be shaking behind the camera, to be fair, and I'm sure it was an out-of-body experience for yourself as well, right?
Yeah, Aftershock was beyond a dream. That's the kind of stuff that I got into music for. I want to do that every night of the week, to be honest with you. But my favorite part of the film, and I've seen it a few times this week already, so the part that I keep going back to is the part where me and Munky are on stage doing the corn set. Not where he breaks the guitar, but where we're actually talking about my performance. And he's like, I'm proud of you, man. And I got to tell both these guys that I may not have gotten that from my grandfather, but I have it from both Munky, Head, Jonathan, and all those guys. And I can tell you, nothing on this planet is better than that. So that's my favorite moment of the film.
Well, I think we're all extremely proud of you, so you should be proud of yourself as well.
Thank you.
I think for everyone this was quite thrilling. For me, more than many, probably on some level, because my parents were the founders of United Cerebral Palsy and United Cerebral Palsy, the foundation. And I think that the fact that you had a bandmate come out, it was very unusual. I've never seen that before. And talk specifically and mention cerebral palsy. Do you always do that? Will you always do that? Because usually you see or hear nothing about what's going on in terms of a disability, and especially CP, I have to say. And you might read it in a program note somewhere, or a reviewer later might say, by the way. But the fact that you had it put right out there for me was extraordinary, and I thank you.
You're welcome, and I guess to answer your question, will I always lead with disability awareness and destroying ignorance towards those with disabilities? And that answer is a clear-cut yes.
Oh, wonderful.
That's what my music is about. That's what this band is about. That's what my life is about. I believe it's my life's purpose to go out there and be an advocate and be a voice for those that often don't get to have a voice. Yeah. So, I love playing music, playing guitar, and I'll do that until I can't get up there on that stage anymore. but it's always going to be with a purpose. And
Bravo.
thank you.
Thank you.
We have time for one last question up here.
How you doing? I was actually at Aftershock, and that was amazing. What
Thank
I
you.
do want to say is that you had said earlier that you just wanted to be equal. And after seeing this, after listening to you, in my opinion, you're not equal. You're above. To me, it's like watching a Michael Jordan or a Steve Vai or somebody do something so magnificent that it just inspires. So now instead of trying to be equal, you lead. And people like me just watch and just get inspired and just take all my excuses and throw them in a trash can. So thank you.
Thank you.
Said.
It's been quite an overwhelming week here in New York, but I think this is the best compliment that we've had this entire week. So Anthony, thank you.
And thank you to everyone so much for your encouragement. I'd like to offer one more huge round of applause for such an amazing team.
I want to thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you, Munky, for joining us. This is why we do it. We need to get the word out there. More people need to hear these stories, and this will change perceptions. I want to thank the Cerebral Palsy Alliance Research Foundation. Branya, thank you so much for joining in this year and being a part of ReelAbilities. I want to thank ADAPT, which is United Cerebral Palsy. And all of you for coming and being a part of this. Spread the word. Tomorrow night's closing night, so one more night, join us for scaffolding, and we hope to see you at more screenings and at more events. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.